In this video, we'll be seeing how to implement Stripe Payment Gateway in Android. So you can see when we click on the button, we are having the option to enter the card details. Let's try with the demo details. Okay, now on clicking the pay option, you can see the payment is successful. Now you can see a toast message that says the payment is successful. And if you try to click on the pay button again, you can see the payment option comes again. And if you close this option, you can see the cancelled option as a toast. So we'll be seeing how to implement this on Android. We'll be following this documentation. I will give the link for this on the description. So you can open the documentation and you can choose the Android and scroll down. You can see the step 1. Here you have to have an account on Stripe. If you don't have an account, you can register the account. So I already have an account, so we'll be using that. And the next step will be to create the server side API. So we'll be using PHP for that. First of all, we have to require the PHP library to our project. So let's copy this. You can see that we are using Composer for this. So if you don't have Composer installed, you can go to the website getcomposer.org and download it from here. You can see composer setup.exe. Simply click on this and you can click next and complete the installation. You need PHP installed for that. So you also have to install SAMP. If you don't know how to set up this, I already have a video on how to do that. So you can check that out. I will give the link on the I button and also on the description. So you can check that. So after installing Composer, we can run this command. So let's copy this from here. And we have to add the PHP library to our project. So you can see that I have opened a folder inside PHP Storm. You can use any IDE, that doesn't matter. So open the terminal and we are going to run the command that we just copied. Now you can see that we have added the Stripe library to our project. If you click on the folder, you can see that a vendor folder, and inside that you can see Stripe. Okay, let's minimize the terminal. Now we have to create a file inside the root folder. So let's name it index.php. Inside this, we'll be implementing the API part. So let's go to the documentation and you can scroll down. You can see the PHP code for implementing the API here. Okay, you have to select the PHP part here. You can switch the language here. You can choose Ruby, Python or PHP, Node, etc. We'll be using PHP. So you simply have to copy this code, this much from here. Let's copy it and paste it on our PHP Storm. Okay, you can see that I have pasted the code here. Now you can see that we have recorded the file autoload.php. You can see the file inside vendor. You can see autoload.php. Okay, now this will add our Stripe library to the code. So we can use the class Stripe. So here we have to change the secret key. So let's change this demo one. And we have to give our secret ID. So for that you can go to Stripe dashboard. Now you have to sign into Stripe. So I have already signed into Stripe, and you have to go to the developer option and you will see API keys. Now you are having publishable key and also a secret key. Now we need the secret key right now. So let's click on reveal test key. Now I am doing this on test mode. So this will be test key. We can do this on live mode also. No change in the procedure. So let's copy the secret key and we can paste the key here. Okay. Now we can remove the comment from here. Now inside the customer, we have to pass the address and the name of the customer. Now here you can see that we are passing the name of the customer and the address. So we have to pass the name and address inside this create. Okay. Now after that you can scroll down and here we also have to pass the description. Now you can see that we have given the description for the payment, and the reason is payment for Android course. Okay, so we have to give the description for the payment. Okay, hope you understand that. Now here you can specify the amount. Now this will be shown like 10.99 euro. So it will be like, okay, you can see that this will be the amount that will be showing on the app. So you have to multiply the actual amount into 100. Then you will get the exact amount. Okay, so if you want to give 100 as the amount, then you can give like 100 into 100. So then if you run the app, you will get the exact amount, that is 100. Okay, now let's change the amount to the previous one. Now here you can specify the currency. Now let's change this to USD. You can change the currency to the supported currencies by the Stripe. Okay, I have changed it to USD. Now we have given the description and we are giving the customer. We created the customer above. Okay, hope you remember. Okay, now the payment method is enabled. Now you can scroll down and you can see that we are echoing these details. That is the payment intent, that is the secret key that is generated from here. Okay, this will generate another secret key and we are passing that here. Okay, you can see that we are also passing the ephemeral key and we are passing it from here. Okay, now you can see that we are passing the customer, and also here we can pass the publishable key. So we have to change this key. Okay, this is the demo one, so let's remove that. Now go to Stripe dashboard. Here you can see the publishable key, this one. So let's copy this. You simply have to click this and it will get copied automatically. And we can paste it here. Okay. Now we are printing this in JSON format. Okay. And we have to set a response code and you have to set it to 200. So don't forget that. This is very important. Now if you want to give some authentication to the API, you can simply create an if condition above. And let's say that we are checking if a post ID and we are passing an auth key. Now here we are checking if the auth key, that is the post variable, is present or not. Now let's check if the auth key is equal to some value. Now here we are also checking if the auth key is equal to ABC. You can use any other key. You can generate a new key and store that on database and do it securely. Okay, now this is a demo, so I am simply using ABC. Now we can open the if condition and you have to close it on the bottom. Now if the condition is false, you can simply show some error message. So if the user is not authorized, we will show an error message. Okay, so that's all with the API part. Now you can try to run this. Okay, so to run this, let's change this to 1. Now this is to set the condition to true always. Now we can try running this. Let's click on the Chrome option here. Okay, you can see bad gateway. You can see the configuration option here for the PHP. So let's select our PHP and let's select the version and click apply. Now you need PHP installed in order to do this. Okay, so you have to add the path to the PHP on the environment variable for this. Okay, or you can simply run using XAMPP. Okay, now you can see the API is running and we are getting the data. See, you can see the data here. Now that's all with the API part. So let's add the condition back and let's save it. Now we can go to the Android part. Now here on the Android part, I have created a new project. This is an empty activity. Now we have to add the Stripe SDK. So for that, go to Stripe documentation. Now here you can go to the top. You can see an SDK option for Android. Here you can see the implementation. Now copy this line And you can go to the Gradle scripts and choose the build Gradle, second one, and add the line here. Now you can click on sync now. Okay, now after building the Gradle, our project will be having Stripe installed. Now we also need to add Google Volley to our project. For that, you can go to this article. I will give the link to this article on the description, and you can scroll down. And we have to add the dependency. So copy this and go to the build Gradle and add this line. Now you can sync the project. Now you have also added Google Volley to our project. Now you can go to res layouts and activity main.xml and go to split mode, and let's change the parent layout to linear. You can set the orientation to vertical. Now we simply need a button, so let's change this to button, and we can remove this from here. Okay, now we are having a button. Let's change the text to something like pay now. Now we need an ID for the button. Okay, now you can see that we are having a button with the ID pay now. Okay, now you can see that it's on the corner. For that, you can give a gravity for the parent layout. Okay, now it's on the center. Now that's all with the layout part. Now go to the Java part, that is the main activity Java. Now here we have to create an object for the button. Now let's initialize the button. Now you can create an on-click listener for the button. Now we have created an on-click listener for the button. Now before this, we have to fetch the API details. So for that, we have to create a function. So go outside the onCreate and create a function. Now inside this, we have to use the Google Volley's post request. For that, go to the article and you can scroll down. We have to add the internet permission. We will do that later. And let's scroll down to the post method. Okay, now you can see the post method. So let's copy this and we can paste it here. Now we have to import the classes. So click on the red and type Alt Enter. Import the classes for all the red ones. Okay, now you can see this text view. So remove that and also this one. Now here on the on response, we have to do the implementation for the Stripe. And we have to change the API key first. So for that, we have to upload the API to a real server. Now this is the API URL after uploading to a demo server. You can see this is a demo server and I have uploaded the source code to the server. If you want to run this, I will try running this on the browser. Now you can see the API is running and it is showing the data. Okay. Now we can go to the top and we have to create some objects. So first of all, we can create an object for the payment sheet. And we can create a string to store the secret from the API. Now we can create an object for customer configuration inside the payment sheet. Now we can go to the onCreate and after the onClick method, you can initialize the payment sheet. Now we have to create this function. So for that, we can copy this name and scroll down and you can create it here above the fetch API. Now it will be accepting a parameter final payment sheet result. Now inside this function, we will be checking if the payment is successful, cancelled, etc. For that, we can create an if condition. If inside that we will check payment sheet result instance of payment sheet result dot cancel. Now if the payment is cancelled, we can show some toast message, etc. So for that, you can give a toast message inside this if condition. Okay. Now this will be true if the payment is cancelled. Now we can give a message cancelled here. Now that's all. Now we are giving a toast message if the payment is cancelled. Now we can do the same for payment failed and also for payment completed. So let's copy this from here and paste it here. You need it one more. Okay. And let's change the cancel to failed and this one to completed. Okay. Now we can change the toast messages also. Now for the failed, we can show some reason also. So for that, we can do okay. Now you can see that we are showing the error message. You simply have to give this, then this will return the error message. Okay. Okay, on the success part, we can show a toast message itself. Now you can do what to happen after the payment is successful. You can do whatever you want. I am simply showing a toast message. So we are showing payment success. Okay. Now go to the top and we have to do some more things inside the fetch API part, inside the on response. Here we'll be receiving the response from the API, that is the JSON string. So we have to parse the JSON. For that, create JSON object equal to new JSON object. Inside that, we can pass the response. Now you can see a red line here. That is because we have to warp this inside a try and catch. Okay, we can click here and type Alt Enter and surround with try catch. Okay, now inside the try, we can create the customer config. That is the configuration. That is this one. Okay, this variable. Okay, now the configuration equal to new payment sheet dot customer configuration, and inside that we'll be fetching the result from the API, that is JSON object dot get string, and inside that we'll be giving the customer, that is okay, and we also need to pass the ephemeral key. Okay, now that's all. You can give a semicolon here. Okay, now after that we have to get the payment intent client secret equal to JSON object dot get string, and inside that we have to give the name. So let's check the name what we have given on the API side. Okay, you can scroll down and here we are using the key, that is payment intent. So let's copy this. Hope you understand that we are using the names from here. These are the names. Okay, these are the key for the data. Okay, let's copy this. So right now we need the payment intent. Okay, now we have to configure the payment. Now inside this, pass the get application context and also pass the JSON object dot, we have to get the publishable key. So get string, and we have to pass the publishable key. Okay, you have to give this inside double quotes. That's why it is showing in red. Okay, now that's all. Now go to the top and you can see the on click for the button. Here you have to type payment sheet dot now present with payment intent. Okay, inside that pass the payment intent client secret, comma, we have to pass the payment sheet configuration, new payment sheet dot configuration. Okay, let's move the cursor. Okay, and inside this, okay, let's hit an enter here. And inside this, we have to give the name, that is the merchant name. And after that, we have to pass the customer details. So our customer details are inside this variable. So after this, we will comma. Okay, now that's all. Okay, now you can see an error here. Okay, you have to change this. We have to call it like this, and you have to use the crop restriction, and after that you can call the function. Okay, that's all. Now the implementation is almost complete. Okay, and if you want to show an error message on the volley, you can simply, let's do something, error dot print stack. Now you can debug the code properly. Okay, and let's pass the API auth key, that is the, okay, now we are passing the auth key. Okay, hope you remember that we have set the auth key to ABC. Okay, now that's all. Now the implementation is almost complete. Okay, that's all. Now we can try running the app. Now here you can see an error while trying to run the app. So for that you can go to the build Gradle. Let's minimize the error. Okay, go to the build Gradle and we have to change this to 33 and also this one. Okay, hope this will solve the error. Let's try syncing now. Now the build is complete. Now let's try running the app again. You can see the app has launched now. Okay, now let's try clicking on the button. Okay, now it's crashing. So go to the logcat and let's check for the error. Now you can see that it is saying a parameter that we passed is null. So you can go to the main activity Java and let's remove the emulator. Okay, and here we forgot to call the function. Okay, that's the error. Okay, so go to the top and here you can call the function fetch API. That's all. Now here inside the on click we have to set an if condition, because you see now the error was this was null. So in order to prevent that error, you can copy this and create an if condition here. If the payment intent secret key not equal to null. Okay, now that's all. Now if this is not null, it will show the payment option. That's all. Okay, now let's try running it again. You can see the app has opened. Now let's try clicking the button. Okay, let's wait for some time. We can see the payment option is not appearing. Now that's because the API is not yet fetched. Okay, let's try clicking it once more. Okay, now you can see the payment option is working. So that's because the API was loading at the first time. Okay, to avoid this, you can go to the code and let's minimize the emulator again and add an else part here. And we can show a toast message for now. Okay, now we are showing a toast message, that is the API is loading. Okay, now let's try running it again. You can actually disable the button if you want to. So I'm just showing a toast message. Let's run the app again. The app has opened and let's try clicking it now. You can see the toast message. See, API is loading. Let's try clicking it again. Now the payment option has arrived. Let's try and demo card 41111 and we can give some demo month and give a CVV. Okay, now let's give something. Okay, let's try clicking the pay. Okay, now you can see the payment option is successful. And you can see the toast message, that is payment success. Okay, that's all. Now if you try to click the button again without reloading the app, we can see an error message. See, the payment cannot be set up because the payment was once successful. Okay, so that's why we cannot do the payment again. Now if you want to do the payment again, you have to call this fetch API once more. Okay, you can call this function from somewhere like the payment success option, maybe from here. You can call the fetch API again from here. Okay, so you can use that according to your need. Okay, so let's try it once more. Now you can see the payment is successful and the toast message is also there. Now we can try clicking on the button once more and you can see the next payment option is showing. Okay, hope you understand. Okay, now that's all with the implementation. So hope you understand how to implement Stripe on Android. If you want the complete source code for this project, you can come to this URL and download it from here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more such videos.